From 13 ABC, Conklin and Company, with 13 ABC Action News anchor Lee Conklin. First, with what's happening behind the headlines. And Take 3, our panel of political analysts.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome into another edition of Conklin and Company. Today on the program, the run for the mayor's office of Toledo. You've heard from all of the candidates who are on the ballot, got those petition signatures signed, ready to go. And we end our series of interviews now, leading up to the debate on Wednesday and the primary a week from Tuesday with the incumbent, independent Mayor Michael Bell. Good to see you again, Mayor. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
How you doing, Lee?
Good. I'm doing very well. Thank you. Let's get straight to right to work, because at a previous forum this past week, it was hard to tell exactly which side of the fence you're on in this. Is this a matter of it's one side of the issue or the other, or is there some common ground? Is there a place in the middle? I mean, speak to right to work here in Toledo, Ohio.
Well, what it is I think sometimes people look for an easy button and an easy answer to that particular issue. There really actually isn't. We sit with a city that is sitting right on the border of a right to work state. And we have a couple other issues involving that. And so for a mayor, what I have to be able to do is respond to how am I going to be able to create businesses inside the city of Toledo. We have right now a 9.2 unemployment. It was 14% before. If we do something that eliminates people from wanting to come into our city, then that's another issue, and that means that we're going to have more unemployment. So for me, I'm going to gauge where we're at inside our economy on how we deal with this particular issue. I have no issues with unions, but I also have no issues if a company doesn't want to have a union. And so my whole idea here is that I want to see people go to work, and so my judgment has to be for the citizens. It has to be about how do we create a competitive environment. If we're going to create something that is not going to be competitive, we're going to put a lot of people out of work. And an example of that would be people who have been laid off that have been in unions that cannot find employment. So would they be better off, okay, in a right to work state from the standpoint of being able to collect jobs, or would they be better in a union state? And trying to determine that is not easy. What I will say is that I'm going to do whatever is right for the citizens, where they think they need to be. I want to do anything it takes to make sure that we as a city are competitive, meaning that we can compete with other cities inside our state and compete against other states. And so whatever that takes is what I'll do.
If legislation were to make its way through Columbus at this time, today, would you support right to work initiatives?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And I'm not trying to play the middle. I'm not sure, because to me, it's still about competitiveness. If we can't compete with other cities or other states, what do? Okay, if the unions come up with a plan that puts us in a very competitive nature with a right to work state, then there's no need to do anything. But if we're not competitive based on what the rules and regulations of being able to deal with our employees are, then I would probably be for right to work. And so that is one of those things that if you can tell me what the economy is going to look like a year or two from now, I can tell you exactly where I'd be. If it's where we're not competitive and being a right to work state puts us competitive, I'm going to be for right to work.
As we sit here today, Mayor,
right.
Is Toledo, Ohio competitive on the regional stage, the national stage, the international stage? Is this a competitive city for business development right now? I
think it is becoming that way. I think we're becoming more business friendly. Even inside our own larger unions, in the UAW, we've actually had to lower our costs to be able to be profitable, and that was done about 3 or 4 years ago. And so I think we're getting there. We have created 38 new businesses inside the city of Toledo. Most of them are not union. So the question is, do you have to be union or not union to be successful in the city of Toledo? And I think that there's room for both. But if you say one or the other, am I prepared to make a decision one way or the other today? No, I'm not. It'll be based on where we're at, whenever that legislation rolls through. And if it doesn't roll through, then we'll work with what we got.
All right, let's. We don't have a ton of time, so let's move on to neighborhoods. Neighborhoods seem to be the focus of almost every candidate right now. What is the city doing? What will the city do under your administration, if you're reelected, to improve the situation in the Old South End, near North End, Central City, to make those neighborhoods viable once again?
I think we're already doing that. In the time that I've been mayor, we will have tore down 1,150 houses. In the North End, we've just redone Ketchum Street. We're just had a press conference earlier in the week where we're talking about being able to create new houses in the Scott High School area. I think that we're doing what we need to be able to do. The key portion is making sure that those people that we're working with have the ability to have jobs and recreating our economy. And so our quality of life is based on our ability to have people working so that they can take care of themselves, and they want to be able to do that. So we will continue to use our beautification program. We'll continue to tear houses down. We'll continue to renovate houses. We'll continue to build houses. We'll continue to work with the school system. We'll continue to deal with issues like after school All-Stars. We got our Mayor's Coalition where we're working with the issues of gangs. We have a T-Serve where we go out and deal with the gang members and bring them to court to tell them what we're trying to do.
Did that last week.
Yes. And so what I'm saying is that we're working on it. Our crime rate, and I keep hearing this, crime's out of control. Our crime rate year to date has dropped 17%. Most cities would be happy with 3 or 4. Ours is 17% year to date. And so I think that we're moving in the right direction. We just people need to be a little bit more patient. You know, we started in a very bad place. A $48 million deficit. We hadn't had police officers hired in about 3 years or so. We're trying to catch up. So I think that we're moving in the right direction.
All right, you said be patient. You mentioned the smaller businesses, Mayor. 38, 39 smaller businesses have moved in. You've said that 6,100 jobs have been created under your watch. 2.5 years now since you were in China, since I was in China with the mayor's delegation. Where are we at with the marina today, as it sits today?
I think there are good things that are happening in the background
that we're not seeing.
That you are not seeing. But typically with most businesses, if there was something that was going to pop up with Southwick Mall, you wouldn't have the inside information. If there was something that was
By the way, is there anything popping up over at Southwick Mall, Mayor?
Well, you know, we had the Genesis senior living that opened last week out there, and they did their grand opening, and that's looking pretty good. But there are things that are happening throughout the city, and what I believe in is letting business do what business does. In this particular situation, I think that people have an understanding. We sold it for $3.8 million, the Marina District. So we made money there in a time where we had a major deficit. We're collecting taxes on it, which we weren't doing before we sold it. And there are people still looking at their ability to figure out exactly what to go there. What they're going for is sustainability. They don't want to build a building that's going to be tore down in 5 or 6 years from now because we don't have anybody in it. They want to be able to put something in it. And I don't think that they're doing anything different than any of the American business people that we have currently inside our system. When they feel that it's an appropriate time to move on that, they will move on it.
All right, we don't have much time. There's a lot of focus on the marina, but I've asked every candidate about Southwick, and that is it's a black eye for our city. No question about that. That
Absolutely.
Huge parcel of land. Under your watch, 4 years from the time you are reelected, if you are reelected, are we going to see that area come back to life?
I think we will. The problem that we have is that we don't own the land, so we can't market the land. Just recently, I think they came out with $50,000 per acre or something crazy like that, and so it's almost like they don't really want to sell it. We can't just arbitrarily go out and snatch somebody's land.
There's no eminent domain on that parcel of land.
And so what we have to do is be able to work with the people who own it. And we've been in constant contact for about the last year and a half trying to figure out, is there something we can do? Is there a way we can do some beautification? Is there some things we can do as a partnership? And we're just trying to find the middle ground. And so we're still working on that. We haven't given up, but we don't own the land. And I think that that's the key portion that most people don't understand, is we don't have control of that land, so we can't just automatically invoke what we want to do on it.
Yeah. Mayor, that's it.
Oh, man.
We wish we had more time. You're going to have more time this
Yeah.
Wednesday
Yeah.
when 13 ABC and then the Blade team up for a mayoral debate. Best of luck in that. And a week from Tuesday in the primary, September 10th. Thank you very much, as always. We're going to come back in just a minute. Conklin and Company continues right after this.